Well, guys, we've made it to the. I need to turn that microphone on. Hey, but can you turn that microphone on real quick? I just realized I forgot that. That's a great way to start the podcast.
Yes.
Yep, right there. Sweet.
Very good.
Check. One sec.
Test.
There we go.
Test.
That's what I was waiting for. Sweet.
Yes.
Well, now we can definitely start. What's up, guys? Welcome to our final. That's crazy to think about.
Woohoo.
Final recording of 2025 for the 3D Leadership Podcast. You probably recognize my face by now, but if you don't and you're new, my name is Dennis. I'm just one of the hosts on the show. We've got a full team that we have, but due to holidays, a bunch of them are out, so we're going to make it work. You might not see any crazy scene changes, zooming in, crazy color changes, maybe not today, but they'll come again next month. Now, one thing I like to always start with is saying thank you to Monica and Mom Christian Gifts for hosting us. She's actually here with me today to hang out for the final recording. It's funny because we used to have a decent amount of conversation as she was helping me navigate some stuff entrepreneurship-wise, spirituality, etc. And I was telling her yesterday, this might be the longest conversation we've had probably since summertime, and it had to come through a podcast. So this would be great.
Yeah.
But they've been hosting us for the last, I don't even know, almost 3 years now. Countless stories, countless lives have been changed. It's been a blast. There's a bunch of really cool updates to share with y'all, which I'll share with you guys towards the end of the recording, but I really want to make sure that we maximize our time together today. So just for kicks and giggles, for those who may have not watched a recording yet, give us like the 2-minute elevator synopsis of like, who is Monica? What's your story? Like, what is the story of the story of the store?
Yeah.
Already tongue twisted. This is a great start.
Love it. Yes, thank you for having me. It's always so fun to be here at the end of every year, just kind of looking back. It's so important to look back and see what the Lord has done in our lives.
I just realized that. I think you've been on every single last episode
Yeah.
so far. That was totally unintentional.
Yes, I know. It just ended up being that way. So it's really fun. So my name is Monica Perez Burnett. I am a wife. My wonderful husband, Jared, is over at the cash register. We have 8 children, 2 sets of twins. I've been an entrepreneur for about, I don't know, maybe 38 years. I'm 53.
So longer than I've been alive, simply put. There's a reason why I go to her for advice.
Yes. But about 3.5 years ago, the Lord said not everybody would go into the four-wall church, but they'd come to the mall, and He wanted to meet them where they were at. And so while I did have experience online in business and doing kind of, teaching music classes and doing other creative ventures, retail is a whole other animal, let me tell you. It's like night and day. You just come completely unprepared. And so when we started, I guess you would say by the world standards, we were very unqualified. And the Lord said, perfect, I choose you.
Doesn't that sound familiar?
Yes. And so the beauty of it is over the last 3.5 years, we have seen literally everything that you read in your Bible happen within these walls. And that includes also just provision, knowledge. So anytime that I would be stuck, even in a business type of question, the Lord would send somebody in with the answer. There's not once it hasn't happened. And so at the beginning, we started off very nervous, like, what are we going to do? How are we going to survive this? Can we even pay the bills? This is such a big place. It's 5,500 square foot store, and that's big to start off with. But then we started seeing patterns where by the 30th of the month, the money was there. Up to the 29th, it wasn't, but by the 30th, it was. And so it was just so cool that we would see this pattern of God providing for His dream, because this was definitely not our dream. I would not wish retail on anyone unless it's something where the Lord has called you. And this is that case. So it's just been beautiful to walk this journey of obedience with Him. We have so many testimonies, thousands of testimonies of ways in which the Lord has worked with other people and also in our family. It's completely changed our experience and our understanding of the goodness of God.
Yeah, so I pretty much can end it right there for anybody listening. I mean, there's still plenty of things that I really want to dig into today, but I think it goes without saying, like, for those who maybe aren't familiar with what we're even doing, so if we had turned the camera around, I don't want to put everyone on blast in the store right now, but if we would turn the camera around, you'd see we are live out of Mount Christian Gifts, right across from Journeys and Zoomies at the Crouchy Mall, and we're recording a podcast with a massive green banner in the middle of the store and just talking to you about leadership and God, right? So it's a really different approach than any other podcast you probably listen to, any store you've probably been in, but the whole focus is how are we able to bring the understanding of biblical principles into practical application. Because I don't know about you, and I could be wrong here, but I've been in enough Christian environments where there's a lot of really strong theological teaching, very good theological teaching, but there's become fewer and fewer application teaching, like whatever the right wording is, just teaching on how to apply a simple principle in your everyday life, whether it's marriage related, whether it's financial related, whether it's relational. Like there's very little teaching right now, unless it's a specific series which goes into practicality. So the goal of this entire brand movement is how do we bring practicality back into everyday life so everyone has the opportunity to live in the actual purpose that they've been designed to live in. There's no such thing as, oh, maybe you'll make it one day. It's are you living in purpose? If you are, you've already made it. But if you're not living in purpose, which comes outside of knowing Christ, then it makes sense why some things may not be really making sense right now. Now, with that being said, one of the topics that I've really been dwelling on the last few months has been this idea of the story of the book of Lazarus and how it took Jesus 4 days by choice to go bring Lazarus back to life. And when I brought this idea to Monica, it was this idea of helping people understand you can't get to day 4 without days 1, 2, and 3, right? So the whole idea of today is it's the last recording of the year. We're literally less than a week away from a brand new calendar year. Are we going to make progress next year? Are you even thinking about next year? Are you just hoping to survive these last 4 or 5 days? Like, where do you find yourself? And I even told her that I'm not looking for an interview today. I just want to talk and really brainstorm ideas of how would we navigate depending on what life of circumstance we were in. But I know that you and Jared have been dealing with some adventures on y'all's end. So like, as a business owner, mom, wife, like, based on where you guys are right now, going into next year, like, where's your headspace at right now?
So it can be very overwhelming when you think about a whole year and then you look back at your current year and maybe you make note of what you haven't accomplished, and then you're looking at a new year and you're like, oh my gosh, that's 12 more months to not accomplish what that's where most people go.
Been there, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I have taken a different approach to eliminate all of that. Because the truth is, if I am dead to self, I am no longer obligated to work on the same calendar that everybody else uses. I use God's calendar. And so when I align to the calendar that God uses, then I'm in sync with his heart and what he wants to do in that season. And so things come so much more easily when you are aligned with God. Instead of, I want to do these things, Lord, can you bless this? Mm-hmm. Can you find a way to do this? I am, okay, Lord, what's on your mind? What's on your heart? And how is what you have either given me as a business or as a family or ideas, does that align in this season with what you want to do? If it doesn't, I put it on hold. If it does, I run with it, and there is an acceleration. I've noticed a pattern of acceleration when I do that. So for example, right now we are it's the Hebraic calendar. They go by the moon instead of the
Okay.
30 days.
I'm about to start taking notes here. If you see me on my phone, like I'm just taking notes.
And so during this season is December, so like the mid-December to mid-July, and the focus is sonship. The focus is building up every area in your life that puts you in a standing position to face the new year by understanding your identity as a son. And so identity is everything, because if it doesn't matter what plans you have or don't have, if you don't know who you are and what you have access to, it's over already, even before you started. And so the other focuses of this month is like eyesight, so full focus on Jesus, looking back, repentance. Repentance is an open door to basically everything that has been a stumbling block in your life. And so I like to, at this time of year, before going into the next year, Lord, who have I not forgiven? Lord, because unforgiveness is something, it's critical in the Word. It's critical. And so a lot of times we're working diligently as entrepreneurs or as parents or all of these things. Why aren't things moving? Why aren't things happening? Well, if we read the Word, it says with the same measure is going to be given. And so we kind of gloss over those things and like, but I've got this big plan and I've got these big things I want to do, when we forget that if you don't take care of the basics, you are not standing on a firm foundation and it just falls through. And so that's kind of where my mind and heart is, okay, what is it that I am believing right now about myself that takes me out of a position of being a son? And sonship in the Bible has nothing to do with gender. It's everything to do with positioning. And so do I understand who I am in Christ? What does that mean then for my life? And how is that going to look as I go into the new year?
So that's something that I've actually been trying to process myself, is the difference between, like, let me ask this question instead. Is it possible to, if you have forgiven somebody, or at least you say forgiven, because that's something I'm trying to navigate right now, is like when there's people who I feel like have wronged me, but I say I want to forgive them, but then if you still hold some type of negative emotion toward the situation, or you still, when something gets brought back up to mind, you still have some type of reaction to it, does that indicate not full forgiveness, or is that just navigating human emotion? Or is it both, I guess, technically?
Great question. So I think it's a lack of understanding about forgiveness, because it's not that what they did to us didn't happen, that it didn't affect us in some way, because it did. But forgiveness is basically saying, let's say you did something to me, Dennis, I release you of the debt that you owe me. So you no longer owe me anything. That is what forgiveness is. Even though you did these things to me, but you don't owe me. So I can't come back and say, hey, but this and this, and even in my mind, oh yeah, no. The debt has been paid.
So because you made that decision, like, you shouldn't have any more emotional tie to it then.
Correct. And sometimes it'll take time, because, we're human. Yeah. And trauma can live in the body, can live in the mind and the heart. And so sometimes it'll take time. So for example, there's a wonderful lady who does health and wellness. And one thing that she was talking about, so she was like healing herself physically through natural means, but she said emotionally. So she healed herself physically in like 61 days, but it took her 18 months to heal emotionally.
Oh, snap. And
what she did to do that was every day she would write down on a piece of paper all of the things that were the burdens, right? She would write them down, she would burn them. every day. And then she would write a list of 50 things that she was grateful for, but she couldn't repeat the same thing every day. It had to be a new list.
Snap.
And that really forces you to see deeper, to see the things that you're completely missing. And I think that then eventually, being in that place of gratitude, pushed away those burdens, it just like kind of cleared that path. So, but I think it's more the understanding of, I release you from owing me anything.
But
an apology, whatever it may be. If forgiveness is on your end and you say, okay, I forgive you, it's done.
Yeah.
It's done.
And so if you, let's say you do convey that to somebody, but you still choose to hang on to that frustration, whether you know you are choosing to or not, how does somebody navigate like the process and the fact that they say they forgive somebody, but they might still be hanging on to that emotion? Do they have to have that, like, do they have to realize themselves that they haven't truly forgiven? Like,
if it's there, they haven't.
Yeah.
So it's more like, okay, let's start again at square one. I forgive you.
Yeah.
And not only that, I'm going to start praying for you.
Yeah.
I'm going to pray God's blessings over you. I'm going to pray that he just knocks your socks off and encounters you in a way like there's no doubt in your mind that Jesus is king.
Mm-hmm.
So then it comes from this, oh, you did this to me too. Actually, I'm going to be an influence of good so that not only I forgive you of your debt to me, but I am going to be the one who is the catalyst to your transformation, to your blessing, to your purpose for which he created you. Because in the end, sin is sin.
Yeah.
Sometimes we tend to categorize people by what they have done. Well, I didn't do anything as bad as what they did to me. So the Lord, that's like separation is separation.
Yeah.
And so, so it's just having that understanding. I think that makes the difference.
So if somebody isn't in a place to want to forgive, like, what should they expect moving forward in terms of mindset, emotional correction, like what even if they don't really pay attention to it, what is it saying? If you're choosing not to forgive somebody, this is what you can expect internally.
Well, I think the biggest thing that you lose out on is love, because God is love.
Yeah.
He sent his son out of love to forgive us of our long list, present, past, future. And so when you hold unforgiveness in your heart, it's very hard to both accept love and release love, because you lose trust. You lose trust. When people have done something to you, your trust levels start going down and down. And so then you go into your next relationship guarded with a block up. Oh, I don't want to be hurt again, so let me put these boundaries in place. Let me do this and that. And so you are missing out on so many things that God has through you from the point of view of love. We were created to love. So if we're missing that part, we're missing the whole reason why we're here.
Yeah. It's not the fact that I'm like trying to not have a comment back. I'm just processing that myself, because it makes perfect sense. It's a whole different way to look at even just entering a year of, hey, who have I not forgiven yet that I need to release myself from?
Yes.
To step into a new year.
Yes.
So like for example, family dynamic. Obviously, plenty of families maybe some families make plans for the new year, maybe some don't. Some are just trying to navigate whatever life chaos that they're experiencing. How do you and Jared best, or do you and Jared make any kind of like practical plan for a new year? Do you guys do any routines or traditions with the kids to kind of help them navigate how to enter new years? I mean, so many families just navigate each year, repeating the exact same year, And in the end, they called it, they just lived, a decade had passed. But
Yeah.
they didn't actually make any kind of progress per se.
Yeah. I think it's kind of funny because goal setting is a whole other thing as well. It's hard for me to make goals, to set goals, because God always changes my plan. Literally. So I've gotten almost to the point of, okay, Lord, if you want something to happen, then you're going to give me like the next 2 months. He's going to give me what I need for to accomplish that. I don't mean to say to anybody, just fly by the seat of your pants your whole life, but there is something to be said about flowing in the Spirit and letting the Holy Spirit kind of guide, and that's what he's there for, to help, don't go left, go right. Do this, don't say this.
So when there's so many success books or so many Christian books discussing like making plans here, having a game, having a vision, all these catchy
Habakkuk
words.
and all of that. Yeah. I mean, that's great. I'm just saying how it's worked for me in the past, because I am more of a fly by the seat of my pants person. Jared is more organized than I am.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm the kind of person who buys 30,000 really cute planners but never write in them. That's me. I'm like, maybe if this little flower print, this will do it, and it'll motivate me to write. No, it never happens. So I write my name in it, though. But I'm like, another one to recycle. But I do believe that having a plan, but here's the thing. So goal setting is great. Having a plan is great. Only if it's first been given to you by the Lord. Because our plans could be good.
Yeah.
It's not that they're bad. They could be good. But with God, timing is everything.
Yeah.
And it could be out of his timing. And so then it flops and you're like, oh, maybe I didn't hear from God. Well, actually, maybe you did, but you didn't hear the timing.
Yeah. Been there too many times to count, literally.
Yeah.
So okay. So let's make this like an actual realistic scenario, right? Because
Okay.
I sent you a bunch of audio messages, texts. So
Yeah.
we're 5 days out. I'm doing planning for a 3D leadership brand for the e-commerce business, for stuff for work, like speaking opportunities like coming next year, like conferences I have to go to. Like if I was giving you my plan and say, hey, how do I best break this down to like keep myself organized, like ideas for the consulting, ideas for the 3D leadership brand as a whole, ideas for the podcast. My assumption is, based on past conversations, the response is, obviously I want to talk to God about it as well and get some perspective there. But at what point would I start taking like written action versus physical action to start executing on something? Mm-hmm. Because like in my mind, let's say we hit into January, I want to have a plan for the podcast. I want to have a game plan for how we're putting together our entire consultancy brand. So where do we? But if I don't feel like I hear from God, in a way that I can clearly know this is the plan for the podcast, how do I navigate planning and taking action towards it versus sitting and waiting for a very clear, this was from God, this is the next move? Mm-hmm. Like how do I navigate that kind of gray area? Because I find myself there so often.
Yeah. So definitely, of course, prayer. So Jared and I were talking about this on the way here, about that guy who had a very busy day, and he said he would normally pray for an hour, and he's like, I got a busy day, so I better pray for 3.
Yeah. Oh.
Right? It's the understanding that there is acceleration in intimacy. Major. I don't think people understand. The word is major acceleration in intimacy. Major.
Write that down.
Okay, so in other words, what would take me 2 months could happen in a day. What would take me a year could happen in a week. That kind of thing. Where it's because there is clear communication. So you're saying, okay, well, what if I don't hear? I've had moments when I haven't heard, and I'm like, I have maybe 2 or 3 options, and they all sound great. They're all God, because I'm not dealing drugs or something. I'm just
don't do drugs.
I'm not handed out the counter or something. But this is what I do, because once again, it comes to sonship. I say, Lord, you know my heart is for you.
Yeah.
I'm going to make the very best decision I know how in the moment, and I'm going to trust that because my heart is for you, if I'm wrong, you're going to make it right. So I cannot fail in any of these decisions that I make.
So, okay, I like where this is going. So, because this is a conversation we've had, that we're probably going to continue to have for a while. So, where's the difference between a fear of making the wrong decision, because I'm there 95% of my day, and walking in faith of God's got me no matter what, right? Because I don't want to be, as I remember, I think when Lisa that came here a while back, said when she was here, she gave me the specific word of, you're allowed to be reckless. Like, great, but I also don't want to be I don't want to be immaturely reckless where I just try and throw mud on the wall and see what sticks.
Right.
I want to operate in the sonship, but I
think she meant flexible in that reckless.
So maybe I can ask this question better then. Is there a difference between, or I should say this instead, is it a wrong desire to want to, is it a wrong mindset to be scared of a wrong decision?
Yes.
Because I'm oftentimes in that place where I'm not always focused on what's the right one, I'm focused on, I don't want to make the wrong one.
Yes, because that is not understanding your identity. You can't fail. If you are in alignment with the God who created you, the God who created the universe, you can't fail, even when it's a wrong decision, because He will create something for you that makes it right. He will either create an experience for you out of it, a growth opportunity out of it. It depends on how you're defining failure. For God, there is no failure if you're aligned with Him. Failure in the eyes of people, that's a whole different thing. Yeah. But whose failure am I looking for? What am I using as a barometer to qualify failure?
So the biggest thing really, I think you mentioned 4 times at this point, the biggest thing is understanding your position with God, to then know, in the end, if the heart posture is my desires to please and honor Him, even if, logically speaking, there isn't a wrong decision, because no matter what decision you make, He will honor it.
Yeah.
So where do you define? So where does that then? Because I think you know where I'd be going with this, but where does that come in terms of the timing of taking a step before it's too early, if you're not confident that this is the right time?
Right. So that once again comes with intimacy, but sometimes I move ahead of God.
Yeah. He
makes it very plain. Sometimes it's a correction.
Yeah.
And I got to be able to, suck it up and take the correction.
Yeah.
In the end, this is what it looks like. There were some guys who came, I think I had mentioned this story to you before a while back, but there were some guys who came to my church from California. They didn't know me from a can of paint. They came up to me. One of them came up to me and said, "Oh, I have a word from the Lord for you." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And he said to me, "The Lord did not give you this business to steward."
I don't think you told me this one.
Ah, okay. So he says, "I did not give you this business to steward. You're in the family business, and you're His daughter, and He's given you the keys." That completely changed my whole perspective of how I would walk into the store, because I had so much fear at the beginning of messing this up. Messing up God's plan.
I feel that.
I'm like, Lord, you've done so many miracles in the middle of all this. I don't want to be the one who messes this up.
Yeah.
Messes up your dream. And he's up there laughing, right?
Yeah.
In other words, from what I said is, my dad's got me.
Yeah.
You know, you look at your kids and they make a mistake and you're like, oh yeah. Okay, let's keep going. Let's keep going. So that's pretty much how it works. It's like I'm going in with an understanding that I'm going to try something new. I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to, do these things. But God ultimately is going to guide me into where I need to be. And so that's so freeing.
Yeah.
Because you don't have to carry this burden. There are so many little details to figure out for the different things. But the difference is there's a peace about it. See, when you're operating from I don't want to mess this up, he shuts off your creativity button in your brain. And it's very hard to come up with the creative solutions that he would in the middle of these things. When you're connected with him and you're like, okay, it's okay. God's going to use this. Oh my God, I can't wait to see how God is going to use this. All of a sudden, you get a phone call, someone knocks on the door, you get a text. Things start moving, in other words. They're not stagnant because we're trying to take control and make it work on our own.
Yeah, I can definitely say my first reaction when things don't go the way I want them to is not, I can't wait to see how God uses this. It's very much so, why did this go wrong?
What did I do wrong?
Yeah, what do I need to improve on next time?
Yeah.
And I've started to figure out with myself that I'm starting to teeter between the realm of perfectionism versus excellence.
Yeah.
Because I still have a hard time navigating the difference between the two. Is one, I know I can never attain perfection, but at the same time, I do want things to run as absolutely best as absolutely flippin' possible.
Yeah.
And when a mistake happens, okay, let's correct that for next time. So my mind is like, okay, we should eventually get pretty close to running almost like it would be perfect. Mm-hmm. We know it never would be, but we should be getting to that level at some point.
Yeah, it's called growth.
And that's, I think that's the hardest thing for me to navigate is accepting when things mess up. I'm a human, so things are gonna be messed up. Things are gonna get messed up. And giving grace when mistakes happen versus wanting to condemn, saying, why wasn't this better? Why was this could have been avoidable. This could have been fixed here or there. Yeah.
You know what I do when that happens? Because I'm not saying I'm excluded from that. It happens to me all the time. I make mistakes all the time. But I have a quick fix to it, so I don't live there very long. I do a rant.
So you just rant?
I rant. You want to hear a rant?
I do, but I also feel like it's about to be the most simple, divine rant. I'm like, yeah, of course I can do that too. At the moment, I just don't want to.
So give me a scenario, and then I'll do a rant around
Okay, let's see. I'll take it back to maybe our second or third recording, where tech wasn't working properly. It wasn't the equipment was used by somebody else the night before. Things weren't where they're supposed to be. I know I did everything I was supposed to put them where they were gonna be, and then somebody came in and changed everything up, and I had no control over where things went. Pretty sure I actually called you in a panic that day too. Mm-hmm. So that's the scenario. I had no control over what they did, but everything I put away differently, and we weren't prepared to be on time that day.
Okay. So this is what would happen if I was put in that situation. Father, I thank you so much that because you're perfect, I don't have to be. I thank you so much that because you're perfect and this word needs to go out, even when the things are messed up and connected wrong, you're going to make a way to create a connection and have the people that need to hear it. wow, God, you are so good. You're so faithful. And I thank you so much that you trust me with this word, that I get to share it, even if I have to stand outside with no microphone, and I get to share this amazing word with the one person who's standing in front of me. That's amazing, Lord. I just feel invigorated and so loved by you, because I know you're just going to even give me new words to share with other people. And so because of that, the fact that I can't fail, I'm standing here looking at this, and I'm actually sitting here laughing at the devil like, oh my gosh, you tried, but you know what? I can't fail because Christ lives in me. So now I get to walk in the fullness of Christ, and I get to step into his peace. I get to be his joy, and I get to laugh in the middle of these. Do you see? It just goes on and on and on, and then there is no room in your mind or your heart to go to where the enemy wants you to go to, which is a place of fear and worry.
Yeah. So, what could any of us do? I mean, well, I'll put this one instead. Is there a habit you built that made that a new trigger for you? Because I know naturally, I definitely don't do that. Most cases, I have to go to another room, I have to go to my car, I'll tell my wife I'll be right back, and I just scream at the top of my lungs about everything that frustrates me about the day.
Yeah.
So, and I would be willing to bet that because everyone else on planet Earth is a human as well, to some degree they probably deal with it as well.
Of course.
So, was there like a habit or a mental click you made that like helped you make that a new response versus speaking through the frustration you felt?
Yeah. So I always start with, in my head, devil, you're a liar, and let me tell you why. And then I start.
See, what I love about that is the fact that there's nothing like, it's not a deep theological concept. It's just it's like every text I get from you. It's like, yeah, here's that, and here's your answer. Like if there was legit, I think I've told you this before, if there was a book of one-liners, I'm pretty sure you'd be the author. Because I'll send you like a 5-minute voice note of just what's going through my head, what I'm struggling with, what I can't process, what 2 things I have to plan for. And I say, okay, like, what's your one-liner? And I usually get one. I'm like, yep, there you go. Easy enough. Every 5 minutes just went out the window. All good.
It's so funny because the gospel is simple.
It is.
The faith walk is simple. We've overcomplicated it to the point of skipping the simple and just continuing to make it complicated. And so it's just that creating a habit of simplification is basically what it is. It's like, do I really need to think this way? Because that's a lot of extra. Let me just put that over here. Let me go back to the basics. Guess what? God loves me, so I'm winning.
Okay, so I'm actually glad you touched on simplified faith. So I was thinking about this on the car ride over here. I was trying to think to myself, like, what are some easy, simple ways that we can, that faith can be applied into the new year, just to help people learn that muscle again, because most of us were never taught it. I know I definitely wasn't.
Yeah.
Like, and the first thing that came to mind was Peter walking on water. Because I was thinking about the George Janko show my wife and I went to. I was thinking about his whole topic of man on water. So, oh yeah, that reminded me of Peter walking on water. And it got me thinking, like, we talk about the story so nonchalantly, like this dude was called by Jesus to walk in, like, out of not just a regular lake, but if we're talking, like, you look up YouTube videos of hurricanes, like hurricane force winds, hurricane force waters, and Peter sees Jesus standing on the water and says, hey, come to me, whatever the paraphrase is. I'm like, I don't think I even have I don't know that I've even understood the faith he had to have to say, I see, hypothetically speaking, a 9-foot wave in front of me, and I see another 10-foot wave in the distance, and Jesus is telling me, all right, go walk on it now. Like, we families see a 2-foot rip current in the ocean at Wrightsville Beach, and they say, stay out of the water.
Yeah.
And yet these cats are on a boat where Jesus is on the water, wasn't any easy lake, and he just says, okay, I'm just going to start walking. Like, I had to really think on that again today, as I'm like, I don't think I process the amount of faith that they had to have with the stuff Jesus called them to. Not that there's a deeper level of faith, but it's just the simple thing he called them to. Like, have faith I can physically heal someone. Have faith that somebody who can't walk outside of the mall, if you tell them to get up and walk, that they just start doing it.
Right.
Like, that's something that I really want to get better at for the new year, is simplifying. If I was at a lake and Jesus just told me, hey, just start walking on the lake, I'd be thinking, gee, you crazy. Like, I can't, I'm too heavy. I'm going to be going into the water, not on it. But I want to get to a point where if you were to tell me, hey, go out to whatever lake is near you and just start walking on it. I want to get to a point where I can just say, I'll start doing that. Because Peter didn't have a nice day. He had a freaking storm. And he was still told, walk on the water.
Right.
And he just did it.
Right.
Like, I think I get what you're saying with we overcomplicate faith, because I'd be thinking 10 scenarios why it wouldn't work.
Yep.
Versus just going to do it and watching it work.
Yeah. There are 3 words that I have to say consistently throughout the day. And
Okay.
it's, I trust you. I trust you. That helps to center me back and kind of bring me back from the big deep hole that I'm starting to dig in most scenarios. I see this, but I trust you. I understand that your kingdom is more real than what we're living here. And so I'm choosing to open my eyes and see what the kingdom sees and not see my circumstance in front of me, because I know that the kingdom can affect this. That's why that's more real. And so that is like the switch that I have to make in my head. Am I seeing earth or am I seeing kingdom? Once the switch is made, it's over. It's over. There is no negativity around it. There's only possibility. And then that opens a whole other experience.
Yeah. So, where do you think that stems from, though, in us? Like, obviously we know that, like, in the end, like, the enemy, like, our decision of accepting something the enemy told us is what brought sin into the picture back in Genesis. So, like, let me put it this way. How can we catch ourselves outside of our typical mental routines? Instead of like saying you're the hamster in the wheel running, making the mental note, if I don't want to run anymore, I can just hop out.
Yeah.
Like it's almost like, because I know how we say that God is outside of time. Like, he's not in time, it's in God's time, because he is outside of time. So it's really, how do we get out of the daily routines that we find ourselves in and basically submit our minds to say, I can actually choose what to pay attention to, I can choose what to think about, I can choose what comes into my mind.
Yeah.
Because in my head, I feel like if you cared enough, it would be something you'd pursue. But to a degree, I also feel like maybe also, this may or may not be the right way to word it, but it's the best I can think of. Maybe people just don't care enough to try.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, is it possible to get people to care, or is it realizing I can't, like, for example, with our podcast, like, obviously we want to help everyone that we can, just like God doesn't want anyone to perish. He wants all to come to the saving knowledge of Jesus. But he also knows that not everyone's going to choose him.
Yeah.
So, is there a way to get people to care, to realize, hey, there is more to this. Hey, there is a way for you to take control of your mind again, versus just accept whatever you're hearing around you, accepting the results of whatever is in your life. Like, choosing, I'm not going to just continue following this pattern. I'm going to choose to look at what I might not be able to see right now, but trust that what I can't see does impact what I can see.
Yeah. So the beauty about free will is that we have a choice.
Yeah.
And to get someone to take that choice, it is impossible. We can't force anybody, but what we can do to get them to want to make that choice is to be the light. And so when there is enough light around someone, the darkness cannot exist, and they want that. it's addicting. It's like, I want the freedom and the peace that person is walking. I don't care what it is. And sometimes it takes for people to hit rock bottom to want to make that change. Other people, it's like, oh, wait, I can do this today. Let me just do it. So it really just depends on the person. But I think the best way for us to be able to do it is just to model it.
So let's dig down that path a bit. I mean, you've been a business owner for years. I'm navigating what that looks like with a job and other businesses. What does modeling look like for you and Jared right now? Because I mean, like, obviously, anyone can walk into a four-door church. Most have chosen not to anymore because everything looks the exact same, sounds the exact same. Plenty of that could be a whole other conversation. But in the end, how do we model the simplicity of the gospel, which is what we were supposed to do since the beginning?
Yeah. So to me, that would be summed up in what Jared, my husband, told me when we first started the store. And he said, if this ever turns into a business, I'm out.
Well.
So it's keeping the vision and the dream that the Lord has for any particular situation intact, guarding it. And so we never look at the numbers. We look at the people. We have so many young adults who come and spend time with us. Why? Because we'll sit there and talk to them.
Yeah.
When most won't. That's what the simplicity looks like. That matters. Like, Jared gets so many texts from different people saying, hey, thanks so much for spending that time with me.
Yeah.
You know? And so it really is that simple. It's time and it's love.
So do you think that in an effort to, like think of it this way, because I know your schedule is hectic, busy, and most would say they're busy. Do you think it's possible that in us trying to be the gospel, that we make ourselves super busy and in the end we don't actually fulfill the mission we started with?
No, because I always ask the Holy Spirit, do you want me to have this conversation or not? He'll always put a block if it's a no-go. Or he'll have me, I'm going to be coming over here. You know, so he'll give me the parameters with which to work that. So it's not about doing more. It's about being guided in the moment with who and who not to.
So it's not so much about like how much are you doing to do the gospel. It's more like, are you sensitive enough to hear about a moment? Yes, because not everybody is ready for certain things, and the Lord knows that. Yeah.
So for some people, it might just be a smile. For other people, it might be a conversation.
Yeah.
For other people, it might just be being in the presence of the store.
Yeah. That makes sense. So, like, put it this way. I mean, obviously, there's been so many different directions that we've gone in this, and I can't even keep track of all the things we've talked about already. Yeah. But if there was like a simple message for, in the spirit of simple, if there was a simple message that we would give to anyone who would listen to this, get a clip from this, whatever, why should they prioritize not even the idea of having a perfect plan, but being in the headspace of thinking ahead, being in the headspace of, I want to think about the future, I want to pray about next year, what would be their motivation? Obviously, we can look back on their whole history and say, well, if you want a different result, do something different. Mm-hmm. But in reality, there may be 10% of the people, if that listen to this, that actually apply it, but the other 90% will say, that sounded great, but my situation is different. That was a great metaphor, but I'm just too much this to do that.
Yeah.
For those 90%, is there something that we can do for them that takes them from the 90% to wanting to take a step for the new year?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what it is, but just having enough motivation to try something in the new year.
Yeah.
To not just repeat the exact same year, live in the exact same thought patterns, live in the exact same mental prison, and not identify with what their past has been, but accept a possible new identity.
Yeah. So I would say, if you just took a moment to think about this last year, and I want you to think about every single time you were on the verge of tears or in tears and frustrated. I want you to think about where you were. I want you to think about what happened, what the circumstances were. And I want you to ask yourself, is there a pattern? Because there's always a pattern.
Yeah.
We just don't see it if we don't stop to look.
We're not paying attention.
Is there a pattern? Most of the time in these circumstances, you can ask yourself, did it go downhill because I was trying to figure this out myself? See, the beauty of the gospel is we don't have to do it alone.
Yeah.
And most of the time that we have failed or we've been in a place of frustration and we've been stuck is because we've been trying to figure it out on our own. Jesus says, I am with you.
Mm-hmm.
I am walking with you through this journey. And, you know, the end point is eternity. Mm-hmm. The journey with him, no matter what it looks like, it matters. Mm-hmm. It matters. And so imagine now, you imagine those moments when you were in tears. Imagine now the same experience, but being able to look at it from a perspective where instead of ending up crying, you end up in a place of peace, you end up smiling, you end up laughing, you end up in a place of joy.
Yeah.
It's up to you to decide which one you want.
Yeah.
Because that can be the circumstance for 2026 every single time. It doesn't have to be one, it can be every single time. That's available to you.
Well, I think that goes back in line with the whole your like day 4 is coming scenario too, because I mean Jesus' family had to trust that when he hadn't come back yet, there had to be some kind of reason for it. Because initially they didn't see a reason for it. They just lost Lazarus. They were in tears. They were heartbroken. But Jesus still had a specific timing in mind. And then instead, he delayed it just enough. And I may have actually even been you who taught me this. But basically, for those who don't know, there's the old tradition that once someone passes away, it takes 3 days for their spirit to actually be per se unrevivable, to not like the spirit departs the body then too, and they're not, as I like to say, they're not just dead, they're dead.
Yeah.
Like there ain't no going back. But Jesus came back after that time frame to prove that he needed to wait, because that way he can go against all the typical traditional mindset and show them, this is who I actually am. Yeah. I don't operate within the traditional mindset you have. I operate as God. I am God, and I can do whatever I want whenever I want. And as Lazarus came back to life, obviously that reshaped the entire family of how they viewed him, how they had faith in him, etc. And I think that goes perfectly in line with what you're talking about, because we can choose to look at something and say it's dead. Like I'm just going to mentally move on from it because I don't want to be disappointed. Yeah. Versus I can choose to have faith. I can choose to pursue the simple gospel and potentially see a whole different year than I just lived.
Yeah.
Because if you can choose to not go through the same heartache you just went through, maybe I'm too much of a logical, analytical person, but I will be trying to avoid that past year at all costs. I don't want to have to relive all of that. If I could choose, why would I choose to relive all of that if there's a different way to think?
Yeah.
No, I mean, I love that. Yeah.
In the end, it's understanding that if we truly have surrendered and given our lives to Jesus, that means I have no rights. I am unoffendable.
Yeah.
I am unbothered.
Yeah.
And being able to live that way gives you so much freedom that it's no longer about me and only about his purpose in me, that I get to then walk into the purpose, because I get in my own way. My me gets in my own way of walking out my purpose for which I was created. And so I need to continue. It's all about asking the right questions throughout the day. Monica, is this about me? Or is this about the plan that God has for you? Because if it's
Yeah.
about the plan that God has for you, then this conversation wouldn't be happening right now.
Yeah.
Or these emotions wouldn't be happening right now.
Yeah.
Or these kinds of things. You know? So, yeah.
No, I love that. I mean, in other words, if you do feel all those emotions, then
It's time for a rant.
yeah, it's time for a rant. Because I'm even thinking you might not have fully surrendered at that point if you still carry the emotions to some
Correct.
degree.
Well, yeah, and there's leeway. We're not
Sure,
expected to
sure,
be perfect all the time. And it's like building a muscle, right?
Yeah.
But you get to a point where you're pretty much, I know there are very few, but I know a few people who do walk
Yeah.
that way. And
Yeah.
it's like, whoa, I want more of that. I want more of that. And so,
For sure.
yeah.
No, I mean, I didn't intend to make this the tradition, but I think having you on for the final recording is just going to be an established tradition because every conversation has always been one that's tailored towards looking back over the course of the year. And yes, obviously there can be plenty of practicality in terms of what to change, what to plan for, etc. But every one of them goes back to, do you see yourself the way God sees you?
Mm-hmm.
And that should, in the end, that should be the only focus moving forward. Because I know that's been my biggest Achilles heel in the last 3 years is how to, not even that I know I fail every day, but seeing how do I, working on seeing myself every day as I am a son. And it goes back to that story you told about the 3 guys at your church. It's like, if God doesn't just ask me to steward something, He's given me the keys to something. And He's given me I've already got the resources for it. Now just run, as a coach would say to his QB, just run the play.
Right. It's step into what's already there for you.
Yeah.
I think people get caught up in trying to create something to step into. They
Yeah.
don't realize it's already there.
Yeah, no, exactly. Now,
Yeah.
for those who may not know, I definitely recommend, and I'll plug this every single recording just because I love it, but they are at the Craftsy Mall across from Zoomies and Journeys. So if you have not walked in the store, they've been here for 6 months 12 months? When did y'all start the store again?
3.5 years ago.
3.5, okay. Yeah, so literally 7-8 months before we started, they started. Yeah. So if you haven't made it by yet, it's about time. Come on down. The traffic shouldn't be too difficult nowadays. I mean, I guess it's the holidays, so ignore that comment. But either way, I mean, the podcast, we've recently also launched 2 different what we call leadership groups, which is related to on a Monday, and I believe every other Thursday, community, discussing the Word, going through it. It's basically an off-brand Bible study, but just going through deeper teaching, going through deeper understanding, etc. So, I mean, in the end, we've got those. If you want to, please feel free to reach out. Email 3dleadershippodcast@gmail.com. Shoot us an Instagram message. Feel free to email if they want to get in touch with you or the store. Prayer, connections, just understanding God, etc. How should I get in touch with you?
You can Mon at monchristiangifts.com. You can also call the store. And we'll get back to you.
Well, listen, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed today. You guys got to hear from somebody who's really basically, I just call her mama because she's been like a spiritual mom to me since I've known her. And I hope that something that she said today has impacted you the way that you can not just maybe step into 2026, but own it, run it, and as Coach would say to QB, just run the play. Just go for it. So we love you guys, and we hope that as next year goes on, you see the change you want to see, you make the changes you know you need to make, and in the end, you see the fruit that you expect to see. If you expect godly fruit, God's going to make that happen anyway. If you don't see it, I think, as Monica would say to me, check yourself. But thank you guys, and I look forward to seeing you all in a brand new year. God bless you guys.
God bless.
We off? Sweet.